Sheesh, if y'all thought that Candace Owens was done dropping receipts about what she thinks happened to Charlie Kirk, you are terribly mistaken.
Very explosively. 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me.
Yeeessss. Candace spilled that Charlie Kirk privately warned people he was being threatened and expressed fear for his safety shortly before he was unalived. Like, she even posted and referenced alleged leaked text messages and screenshots that she said came from people close to Kirk, arguing those show donor friction and that donors pulled funding after Kirk's comments about Israel.
Others knew that Charlie was done with Israel, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing.
Based on what she said, the Israel lobby or certain pro-Israel donors played a role in creating the circumstances that led to Kirk's death. And she even named and implicated Bill Ackman in the context of donor pressure in her podcast. Then she accused federal investigators of withholding information or not being fully transparent and framing parts of the official response as a cover-up.
Very much, and maybe this is a poor way of saying it, a straight said, yes, I have a training. And I don't want to give too many identifying details here, but this person himself has a lot of experience with and knows and, helps to train people in that sort of a capacity, and said that they observed that individual, the FBI saying that the dropped onto the roof at 12:15 didn't make sense to him. He said earliest it was 12:22. That the individual ran across, set up, took the, and I said, well, you must have been there, because he then sends me I wanted to see all of the metadata of when he took that footage, and the metadata begins at 12:22 and goes into 12:23, the very minute that Charlie gets. And he says, yeah, I saw. I had just stopped recording about 20 seconds before the rang out. And he said that he told them a description of what the was like. And it was not the description that the entire world received less than 24 hours later of this person, Tyler Robinson, wearing jeans. I said, was he wearing jeans?
In addition, Candace also claimed that Charlie Kirk announced a massive audit of Turning Point USA just 1 week before his death. And in another surprising bombshell, she straight up said that the suspect, Tyler Robinson, was framed and that the FBI could be covering everything up. I mean, it's a lot of details that Candace has been dropping right in our faces, and I mean a lot. But let's just get down to the nitty-gritty. First of all, there were already theories floating around claiming that the attack on Kirk appeared to have been a professional hit either by a nation state or rogue elements of the American government. Then there have been people who have made claims without evidence on social media that Kirk was unalived as a result of United States support for Ukraine. There has even been a theory that Kirk's death was purportedly fake, and this is because in the videos that made rounds, Kirk's ring appeared to switch fingers. Well, it's possible that the ring was hinged, meaning a latch opens and closes the ring on the finger. But this hasn't stopped this conspiracy theory from making rounds. Anywho, there's also been a rumor centered on people standing near Kirk who were purported to have made unusual gestures before he was unalived. Also, there were allegations about the involvement of Israel, with some commentators attempting to link the event to the Israeli Mossad and to Kirk's comments about the Epstein files. Allegedly, Kirk believed Israel would get rid of him if he turned against them, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected the theories, calling them insane. Child, you see that part about Israel involvement? That's where Candace has been doing a lot of spilling. Now, Now, almost immediately after the news of Kirk's attack went viral, Candace Owens took to X and wrote, "Charlie Kirk was fighting with some very powerful billionaires that he took money from over things he was discussing. The pressure on him was immense over the last 2 weeks. The truth will be revealed. The messages will be leaked. And the movement he built will rise up." Well, she did live up to her word and released a screenshot of messages shared by Kirk in a group chat where he had been discussing Jewish donors pulling funding over his links to Tucker Carlson. Based on the screenshot, Kirk said that he had lost a $2 million donation from a Jewish donor over his refusal to disinvite the conservative commentator Tucker Carlson from his upcoming America Fest.
Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, ugh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause.
Yes, I know there were people who questioned the authenticity of the message, but Turning Point USA spokesman Andrew Calvet said the screenshot is authentic and even said that he was really excited that the truth is out there, and the only reason he didn't share that screen grab publicly is that it was a private exchange. Andrew also said Kirk's feelings about Israel were complicated and nuanced, and he wanted the war in Gaza to end.
Didn't share this publicly. It was because this was a private message between Charlie and some people, some Jews and non-Jews, where he was, frustrated. He was frustrated, and that would have felt like a betrayal to my friend because he never said anything like that publicly in like a show, right?
So let's be clear. Regardless of what her motives may be, Candace did not lie about the text messages. And get this, another thing that Candace said was that Kirk predicted his own death and that 3 people told her off record about this.
Express that to me, so I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed. Maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him?
However, that's hardly everything Candace has said, because she also seems to believe that Tyler Robinson was framed, and based on what she said, the timeline of how everything went down just doesn't make sense. For reference, when the authorities started looking for suspects, a man in Washington, Utah, recognized the photos as showing his son, Tyler James Robinson, a third-year student in an electrical apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College in the state. Allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly cause Candace said most of what was reported never happened. After confronting his son, the father informed the bishop of his LDS Mormon congregation, who contacted the United States Marshal Service. Based on reports, investigators also interviewed Robinson's transgender roommate, whom he was in a romantic relationship with, who apparently showed them messages from Robinson which discussed the need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also referenced a scope, engraved bullets, and the rifle being unique. Of course, there have already also been multiple photos and videos placing Tyler on the scene, like how security footage showed a suspect, allegedly him, arriving on campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at 8:29 a.m., but he was dressed differently than around the time of the incident. He appeared again at around 11:50 a.m. when he moved through a grassy area into a parking lot near campus. Then at around 11:53 a.m., he stopped at the top of some stairs and pulled out his phone before proceeding into a pedestrian tunnel. He was then seen at 12:02 p.m. walking on the north side of the ller Center, where he would later take his at Kirk from the roof. Also, according to an affidavit, the suspect entered the ller Center from the southeast side, and 13 minutes later was seen ascending stairs next to the building, and investigators said that by 12:22 p.m., he was on the roof lying on his stomach facing the location where Kirk was speaking. Then at 12:23 p.m., a single was fired from the roof of the ller Center, 130 meters from Kirk, hitting him in the neck. Video footage also showed the suspect running from the south corner of the ller Center roof to the north corner where the ground was higher and he could hang from the edge of the roof and drop to the ground, which occurred at about 12:24 p.m. In addition, palm prints were later found at the edge of the roof, as well as smudges from which samples were collected to look for DNA, and a footprint was found on the ground which showed he was wearing Converse sneakers. He then moved into a wooded area north of the campus where a rifle with a scope on top and containing inscribed bullet casings was later found. I mean, it sounds like the evidence was pretty solid, right? Wrong! If you ask Candace, she will tell you that none of this makes any sense.
Family says that the photo of the young man that is coming up the stairs, which was shared, that blurry image, is definitively not Tyler Robinson. And let me just say, I never thought it looked like him. Neither did you, okay? Face looks different. Face looks more narrow. Also, that person looks taller. Every time I say, I'm like, this person is taller than Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson also appears to have full lips, even though this image is blurry. We're not looking for someone that got fuller lips, and Tyler Robinson looks broader than that individual walking, right? So I'm on board with that person walking up the stairs is not Tyler Robinson, because I feel like it was intentionally blurred. They also never gave us the footage at all, because in order to blur it, they probably needed a static image. Also, the family believes that, and this is really interesting, Tyler Robinson's apartment was staged.
She actually believes that Tyler is innocent and that the Trump administration fabricated the entire narrative from the allegation that he wants to unalive himself to his father's supposed confession. Candace also questioned how Tyler Robinson was willing to turn himself in but did not confess. And she also questioned how the firearm belonged to Tyler, yet he is not an enthusiast. And she also said Tyler does not use words like vehicle as presented by his text messages. In fact, Candace also said Tyler's father does not even believe that his son did it. And get this, after dropping the bombshell that Tyler Robinson was framed, Candace also claimed that a video came to her from a source which was not released by the FBI. In the door cam footage, she claimed the person responsible for the unaliving was seen with a woman who was probably helping him. Her question was, since the feds were already releasing footage, why did they conveniently choose not to share this particular one? Okay. Candace also questioned the puzzling decision of the FBI to send their Connecticut agents to Utah, noting that the reasoning remains unclear. She also highlighted a concerning pattern among witnesses who readily recounted how Tyler Robinson was apprehended. All of them, she noted, have connections to law enforcement. In fact, Candace also claimed that her source told her that Tyler Robinson did not even set foot on the Utah Valley University campus. In addition, Candace also noted that the law enforcement account of Tyler's arrest seemed strange, as it focused excessively on the details of who assisted in locating him and questioned why that person's identity was being kept secret, especially if they were a public figure. See, there was also a claim that Tyler went to Dairy Queen 17 minutes after the attack, and Candace connected the dots with the Dairy Queen photo and exclaimed at how a cold-blooded person like him would stop to have an ice cream after unaliving someone. Then she insinuated that Tyler was at Dairy Queen from where he was framed for the incident. And guess what? Candace also apparently got info from someone about the firearm that was used, and what this person told her contradicts everything the FBI said. Everything.
He also said something that we had not heard, which is that he knows and that the FBI found was not that he saw, that the he saw was smaller. And I'm going to read you directly a text message that he sent me, again, protecting his identity. He said, watching the video of the impact, hearing the sharp crack instead of a big hunting rifle's boom, and seeing what looked like a shorter rifle platform, albeit with the absence of the shape of a standard 30-round magazine, the assassin may have used a 10 or 20-round magazine, only expecting to shoot once or twice. I would guess that he was shot with a Hornady V Max or similar lightweight 223 bullet designed for very rapid expansion. Of course, I don't have access to any autopsy reports like you might, but if they found small shards of copper rather than one large copper-coated lead slug, that's the gun and bullet I would expect was used.
Child, as crazy as it sounds, could Candace Owens actually be onto something? She's raised some serious questions that don't quite add up, like why Tyler Robinson would agree to turn himself in yet never confess, or how a firearm supposedly belonging to him could be linked to him when he wasn't even an enthusiast. And if there really is unreleased door cam footage showing him with a woman at the scene, why hasn't the FBI made it public? Also, why are there so many other inconsistencies with reports reaching the public? public. Honestly, whether Candace Owens is uncovering uncomfortable truths or amplifying unverified theories, her claims have forced many to re-examine the official story. From her insistence that Charlie Kirk was publicly executed to her allegations of donor pressure, missing evidence, and federal cover-ups, she has stirred a wave of doubt and speculation. But do you actually believe that there could be any truth to her allegations? Do you also think that Tyler is being framed? I am dying to know your thoughts, so drop them in the comments section below.